The following review is intended for entertainment purposes and targeted for adult fans of the series.
Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Power Rangers toy review. Today, I've got for you the Dino Fury Blue Ranger Mainline action figure. I'm going to mention this again, even though I mentioned it in my review of the Pink Ranger figure. I really did intend to do a really cute kind of thing for these two figures, where Amelia's video was going to be a paranormal investigation and I was getting like spectral readings off of it, and Ollie here was going to be very scientific and, you know, very analysis, and the energy readings I'm getting off of this and these measurement levels, and it's precisely this many centimeters tall, etc., etc. But work was really busy before I changed jobs, and other stuff was getting in the way, and I just didn't have the time to actually go through with that. And in this effort to get my channel caught back up after a very busy summer, I just felt like I needed to get these videos done. So this is the next video in line, the Dino Fury Blue Ranger. We're going to take a look at the box here, although really it's the same one that it always is. You know, again, as I mention every time, I love that the box hang goes right around the helmet right up there. Very nice. You can see the original weapon is kind of a pair of daggers or maybe sais, and it's an interesting looking weapon, and those are completely original. They were not featured in Ryusoulger at all. You see the key in there, which will make some kind of weird, kind of dumb, chirpy music, whatever. Something I will point out, I'm not really going to mention it when I get into the figure itself, so I'll just go ahead and mention it now. I happened to see somebody on Twitter mention that they were seeing these blue figures in the wild, and they had apparently fixed the paint on the helmet. I'm not sure what that's referring to. This one looks just fine. I did get this somewhat recently, within the past couple of months, so maybe that had been fixed. I will say, you'll remember that I had that Zato Red Ranger figure that had a paint issue on its helmet, so maybe that was a similar thing, or it was more prevalent on the Blue Ranger, but nonetheless, the paint on this looks good, and we'll take a look more closely when I get it out of the box. We're going to flip around to the back after dropping it down. Nice, easy pose to match there. And yes, the key goes in the morpher. And yes, I will be putting it in the morpher again. And yes, it's taped here, but it's blister packed on the top. So we're going to have to ruin that beautiful picture up there. But let's go ahead and get it open. Here we have Ollie, the Dino Fury Blue Ranger, and I think I've mentioned this before in my review of other blue figures, and maybe it's just because orange is my favorite color and blue is the complementary color to orange, but blue always really seems to stand out and pop for me. I really like the blue on this figure. It pops very well. I think what it might be is that it does also contrast very well with the silver and black on the suit. So perhaps even more than other figures, the colors on this just pop really well. All the gold on the figure is nice and shimmery and well painted there. My standard complaint still exists. This morpher on the wrist, I really wish they had painted that at least a little bit more. It's well sculpted, I will say, to complement something that I'm usually trashing, but I just really wish... What's sticking out to me for whatever reason is that you see how it's molded to that wrist cuff right there. The wrist cuff is painted gold and the morpher is a solid piece of black plastic. It seems like that entire thing would just be part of the molding, so if you can paint it that specifically, why can't you just add like one more color to this? That's all I'm really saying. The helmet, I said I wasn't going to mention this, but just to talk about it real quick, the helmet looks really good. Nice horns there on the helmet and the eye, and everything is in the right place and all the lines and everything. Coming around to the back, that all looks really good. Good flexibility on the figure, nice swinging type joints on the legs and the arms. The interesting thing is the shoulder joints, and this might be the case with all of them and I just haven't noticed, the shoulder joints pop every time you put them up and down. And just in case you can't hear that, I'm going to bring that right next to my mic as I do it. You hear that snap. I mean, maybe that'll get better as you work with them, but yeah, good looking figure. These two are identical, so no real need to show you both. But same comments as everything. It's really neat for there to be an original weapon in here, a little added value. So I think my standard complaint here adds a little more weight here because this is a Triceratops weapon, right? And you have the big silver horn on the front. Why not paint the horns on this? Just that. If they had just painted that, I'd be happy. I'd be happier to spoil the ending of this, but yeah, and there's no real detail down there. That's my other real thing. That could use just some basic lining, but other than that, that's pretty neat. It is really challenging to get footage of these things since they are so reflective. But there is the Blue Ranger key right there. And on the back, that's easier to get. That's the helmet you're going to see when you put it into the Megazord. Very nice. And now speaking of the key, let's slap it in the morpher. It's morphin' time. Dino Fury key, activate. Link to morphin' grid. Yeah, standard thing. I gotta say, that's a jam. I like that. I like that little bass dun 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 dun. That's a nice little touch there, but yeah, this thing doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna flip this back and do that part. Dun 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 dun. And then, of course, we have the sound effects when the key is in, which I think are the same as the pink key, I thought. It's a wibbly-wobbly sound, like rubber, maybe. I love, like, I love that sound. We need a grunt like the putties. What's the grunt this season? The henchman. The henchman should make that noise. Oh, that is fantastic. I mean, yeah. All right, time for an aspect of my reviews that I think is at least slightly unique from most. The grade on posing it to the back of the box. I'm going to give this one a B+. It wasn't too complicated, but it was a little difficult to get him to stand up the way the figure is posed on the back of the box. So not too bad overall. I don't have it quite matched as far as where the weapons are and stuff, but that's pretty good. And that's probably the pose I'll have him stand on up with Zato and Amelia. So that is going to wrap up my review of the Dino Fury Blue Ranger mainline action figure. I do give this a thumbs up recommendation. It's a good one. The price on these has gone up just a touch. I want to say they're around $10 now, but they're still quality figures, and there's 2 pack-ins with this, with the key and the original weapons. So I think that's a pretty good value. It's something for the Morpher. It's something presumably for the Megazord. I believe the Zords come with their own keys, so I don't know how relevant that is, but you get 2 pack-ins, so there's good value with this, and I think it is worth it, especially if you're a collector like me, but even if it's something for the kids, I think it's a pretty good situation. That's going to do it for another Power Rangers toy review. Thank you all so much, as always, for watching. Now that this video is done, you can let me know what you think of this figure if you plan to pick it up, and of my review of it down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button to let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you're looking to pick up any Orange Ranger merchandise, you can check out my Teespring. Teespring, you can also support me on Patreon or Ko-fi, all of those Orange Ranger videos. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you.